Hi, this is Mavel Chapolet, BIS IT3. Welcome to Cisco Packet Tracer Activity 5.5.2, Propagating the Default Route in RIP. So, learning objectives. Reconfigure R2 and R3 for default and static routing. On R2, remove the network to R3 from RIP and configure a default route. On R3, remove RIP and configure a static route. Reset the network and view the results. Propagate the default route in RIP. Configure R2 to propagate the default route in RIP. Examine RIP updates. Examine the IP routing table on R1. Check connectivity. Okay, let's proceed. So let's start for reconfigure routers. So task 1. So R2 and R3 for default static routing reconfiguration. So step 1. On R2, remove the network to R3 from RIP and configure a default route. So access router 2. Okay, let's open router 2. Open command line interface, enter, then seek mode, and so enable, enter the configure terminal. Let's start for the configuration by issuing the command router RIP. Enter. And next is the command no network 192.168.4.0. Okay. Enter and exit. Exit to return global configuration mode. Okay. And let's proceed to the command IP route 0. So that's the IP address 0.0.0. IP route. Then you submit this .0.0.0.0. Serial 0/0/1. So enter. Then to exit the configuration mode, just simply hit the Ctrl Z and copy run start. Copy run start to save the configuration. Enter. So then step number 2, on router 3, remove RIP and configure a static route. So let's go to router 3. So open the command line interface, then enter, enable, then global configuration, config terminal, enter, and no router RIP. No router RIP, enter. Then the next command is hyperroute 172.30.0. Then subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. 0 serial interface 0/0/1. Okay, let's enter. And let's proceed to save the configuration, hitting by the Ctrl Z and copy run, start, enter. So we're done, and let's proceed to step number 3, reset the network and view the result. So click the power cycle device link below the lower left corner. So here's the power cycle device. So, and then request to reset the network and update the routing table. So let's click yes. So it's reset. On each of 3 routers, examine the IP routing table by showing the command show IP route. Okay, let's try first on router 1. So we open the command line interface, enter, enable, for FD, then show IP route. Enter, exit tayo, okay. Dapat naka-ASIC mode lang. Show IP route. Enter. So here. Let's proceed to router number 2. Enter. Enable show IP route. Okay. Number 3. Enter and enable show IP route. Okay. On router 1, there is no way to its network outside of 172.3.0/16. So let's check. Source R1 directly connected 172 is on subnet 3 subnets. So let's proceed to task number 2. Propagate the default route in RIP. Configure R2 to propagate the default route in RIP. Access router 2. Okay, router 2. Then enter privilege ASIC mode. ASIC mode, enter, enable. And then configure terminal the global configuration mode. Then for the configuration mode by showing the command router RIP. Okay. Router RIP. Then the second command is default information originate. Okay. Exit configuration mode by hitting Ctrl+C. Save the configuration by issuing command copy run start. Okay. Then copy run start. Enter. Step number 2, examine RIP updates. On router 2, examine RIP updates by issuing command debug IP RIP. Okay. So let's debug IP RIP. So RIP protocol debugging is on. Allow command to run for several minutes and observe the updates that are sent and received. Issue the command and debug all. Okay. So sending well an update B1 update to 255.255.255.255 via serial 0/0/0 172.30.2.2. Build update entitled network.0.0.0 metric 1 network 172.30.3.0 metric 1 receive build and update from 172.30.2.1 on serial 0/0/0. So 172.30.1.0 in 1 hops. So RP receive update from 172.30. So that's for protocol debugging is on. So let's undebug all and debug all. Undebug all, enter. So all possible debugging has been turned off. Let's proceed to step number 3, the IP routing table on R1. So let's proceed to R1. Router 1. And then to examine IP routing table by issuing command show IP route. IP route. Okay, on router 1, a default route has been learned from RIP updates. Okay. Let's proceed to step number 4. Step number 4, check connectivity. Verify full connectivity by pinging each PC to other 2 PC. All pings should succeed. Okay. 1. PC 2. Copy. Step 1. Packet tracer. Keeping. Enter. PC So ping a statistic for 172.30.3.10. Packet sent 4, receive 3, lost 1. Approximate round trip times in milliseconds. Minimum is equal to 37 milliseconds and maximum is equal to 63 milliseconds. And average is equal to 50 milliseconds. So let's try again to ping this PC2 to make successful, to make the pinging successful. Okay. Also the PC number 3. So this being 192.168. From PC1, pinging 172.30.3.10. So the pinging is successful. So also in PC number 3. So that's all for this activity 5.5.2, propagating the default route in RIP. Thank you, and I hope you learned something from this video or this activity. See you on the next activity in Cisco Packet Tracer.